Hey, Amira.
Hey,
Very nice to catch up with you about your and my business as we have become business partners to change the money reality for a lot of people in need. What
we
we have
sure have.
what we have found that you have a big piece of the puzzle, and it looks like as if I had the other one. I'm bringing the mindset, and you have all the practical professional side to it, the how to do it. And I'm so happy that we are becoming partners now. This interview is about your business and how you do it, and to bring you closer to the community. And let me ask you a few questions, all right?
Sure.
So, what is motivating you in doing this Your Money Habit? That's the name of your business.
It is, yes. What's motivating me is I actually was born to teenage parents.
Mm,
So my mum had just turned 18 and my dad had just turned 19, and they were just, starting out life. So money, worrying about money was a big part of my growing up. Um, And as you grow up, you think, you know what, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be like that. I want to do better. But honestly, I probably did worse.
wow,
There was all those tools, the understanding, so many things I did not know because I never got taught them. So that's probably what motivates me is it's actually something that can be solved. It doesn't have to be a chronic way of life. And now that I know that, if I could help somebody else and somebody else's family not have to continue to live like that, then that's what I'm going to do.
fantastic. So, what are you doing exactly? How does this work? What's the service?
So I take people through a process of usually most people come to me because they are spending more than they earn, and that's despite what sort of income they've got. This is whether you're on a lower income or a higher income. It's more about what you do with that income as opposed to how much of it you get. I know that's sort of a bit of a myth. Most people think if I just had more money, then all my problems would be solved, but that's not actually true. Um, so somebody who earns $50,000 quite often has the same issue as someone who earns $200,000. So what I do is I take what's happening and I create something we all know what a bank statement is, right? Or your credit card statement.
Yes.
But we get that after we've spent our money. What I do is I help people create one before they spend their money. And
I
that
love
way you'll know exactly how much money you need to have in your bank account in a week from now, in a year from now, 10 years from now. You're going to know exactly how much money you need to have there. And
fantastic.
also, we have an opportunity to see how little tiny changes can make a really, really big difference.
Wow.
So,
Compounding
yeah,
time. Yes, compounding time. So
exactly.
tell me about the name of your business, which is called Your Money Habit. That's a interesting name.
It is an interesting name. It's a little unique. So, when I was searching around for a business name, I kept thinking about our sort of relationship with money. And there's two things that came up. Firstly, habits, because our habits can either make us or break us. And also the fact that money is pretty much like an addiction for most of us because we think about it day and night. We lose sleep over it. Our relationships can be quite, um, well, unfortunately, can be damaged because of money issues. So that's a habit, right? An addiction is a habit. So I thought, you know what? It kind of suits both things, the habits and the actual addiction, the habit. So your money habit kind of worked on both ends for me.
So true. And tell me about some money myth that you keep coming across.
Mm. The probably the biggest one that I think really needs to be taken care of is tying up our self-worth and our money. So we think that, and I believe it's an unconscious thing. We see a lot of movies from that boy from the wrong side of the tracks, or the girl, and the parents try to buy him off, not because he's not a good person, but because they fear that she won't have a good life because she'll be living with someone who's got no money. So somehow we have tied up, and there actually is a lot more to this, but I'll give you the brief version.
Okay.
We've tied up our self-worth and how much money we have together. And let's be honest, when we think about what is money, money is simply an exchange between two parties for goods and services. It is nothing else than that. But that's not what we make it mean.
That's so true, yes.
Mm.
Is there any other budgeting beliefs that you keep seeing around people who are coming to you?
Yeah, my favorite one of all, actually, my favorite one, that $10 or $20 doesn't make any difference.
Mm.
So if I spend $10, oh, don't worry, it's no big deal. If I spend $20, no big deal. That could possibly be true, but if you do that 10, 20 times a week, it's a rather big difference. So yeah, I have a little story in some of my webinars or workshops that kind of explains that. But I hear it a lot. People go to me, oh, it's just $10. It doesn't make any difference. Mm-hmm. Yes, it does.
So what was the biggest one that added up in, because you are seeing cash flows in people's accounts?
Ah,
Tell
yeah.
me an example. How was the impact at the end of the
Okay,
month, end of the year?
this happens a lot. Um, Not so much in the form I'm going to tell you about, but it does happen in some shape or form. It's usually just depending on the person, what it is that they're buying. But in this particular case, I had a gentleman who worked on the road. So his job was to travel, each day between places. And he would go stop into the petrol station. Now, not for petrol, but for snacks. So we've got our drinks, we've got our chips, we've got, our food. So he actually was going through $200 a week, and he had been doing it for years, of this just $10 here when I stop in, $20 there, $200 a week. Now, the issue with $200 a week is that's nearly $10,500 a year. And
Wow.
often we say we can't afford things like, I really need some dental work done. I can't afford to go to the dentist because that's going to cost me $1,000. Okay. We just ate through $10,500 worth of snacks. I can't afford to go on that holiday with my family. I just, I wish I could go on that holiday. Once we start to see the bigger picture, we can go, actually, you can still keep having the snacks, but let's contain how much.
Okay.
What if we only made it $50 a week as opposed to $200? Then we can still take the holiday and we can still go to the dentist. So instead of just one thing, now we've got all three things covered.
I love it. So you have those boundaries set up and people's financial lives just shift.
But we make it simple because that's another issue is we've been taught that we have to, if we write everything down. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not going to spend every time I spend $4 on a hot chocolate. I don't drink coffee, but there you go. That's a fun fact about me. I'm not going to go and write that down, 5 times a week or something. Actually, I don't do that. But you get the point, right? I'm not
Yeah.
going to go out and write that down every day. So we make it simple so you know when to stop. It's simple.
Beautiful. Is there anything else that you want to share?
That I want to share. I guess that being like chronic financial stress does not need to be the way that you live going forwards. It is, I know that a lot of people are very scared about dealing with their money, and I don't blame them. I was absolutely terrified myself when I started 15 years ago. Absolutely terrified. I think I had tied that up with I'm a horrible parent. I should be ashamed of myself. There's so many emotions running around with money, so many, and it can cause us to be quite unwell. Um, so I just want people to know that that doesn't have to continue in your life. It really truly doesn't. There is a way to get free from this chronic financial stress.
Fantastic. Hey, Amira, thank you very much for your time, and we'll see you again next time. Or did you want to say something else?
Actually, I did want to say something
Go
else.
ahead.
I just thought there
Yeah,
about you and I working together. Is it okay if I just address that?
of course. Expand on it. Yes.
Yeah. So while you said I do the practical side of things, one thing that is really, really crucial is there's some self-sabotaging behaviors, okay? And there's also some mindset issues. Whenever we're going to change a habit or a chronic way of being, there's going to be some discomfort and there's
Mm.
going to be some things that we bump up against, as you would know. We may have the best of intentions. I believe people truly do have the best of intentions. And when we start something like a program or a course, we've kind of mustered our energy and we'll say, we're going to do this. It kind of stops being fun after a while and
Yeah.
life gets in the way. You know, little Johnny, breaks his leg or something, someone in the family gets sick, something comes up, something always comes up. And then we kind of put it back on the back burner and another year goes by and another year goes by. Okay. So for me, it's really important that we get people to start, but we also get them to finish. And so what you do beautifully ties into any sort of self-sabotaging behaviors that are occurring or any sort of limiting beliefs that we are struggling with. And we have this feeling, I don't know why I'm doing this, but I can't stop myself. So having you come in and help people get clarity around their goals, but also to figure out what these blocks are, I think is was almost like the absolute missing piece.
Yes, I have a feeling around perhaps now your work will be just tripled in speed or even faster, because now as we are working together, whenever something pops up and those beliefs or the old patterns rear their ugly head, then we can just nail it and release it. And of course, the client is back on track.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My philosophy on this is, you know what, you can have a bad day or you can even have a bad week, but we just keep going. There's no quitting.
Yes, I agree. And together we can make that shift a whole lot faster, I believe.
Oh, I believe so too, which is why I'm so excited to be working with you on this.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
No, and thank you.